Now, I got to be really honest with you. Because I've seen, we've seen what's been happening the last 3 years with these courts. And a lot of times the courts have done things, um, say they don't have jurisdiction, or there's some kind of a little legal ramification or big legal ramification that they have where they don't really, it's like the courts don't want to really get involved. So I was watching your case very closely, as many people in healthcare are, and I was skeptically optimistic. So it's exciting to hear that they're going to that they're going to actually hear the case. So where do we go from here, and what's the time frame and all that?
Yeah, I believe it just goes back to the court in Galveston, assuming, I mean, either party. So the FDA could appeal. We could appeal because we did lose on one point, and it's complicated. The legal part of it is a little bit confusing. So I'm not sure I can comment on it with authority. But basically, as long as neither side appeals, then we go back to the original court, and then we go forward, and we have to prove standing. So that we have to prove that what the FDA did had a meaningful impact on me and the other two plaintiffs, Dr. Apter and Dr. Merrick.
And isn't it true that the judge in this case that decides to hear the case, isn't it true that in some way they said, the FDA can't play physician? Is there some kind of wording in there like that?
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying. Basically, I've said along, the FDA is not your doctor. It's not the world's doctor. That's not their role. But they have led the public to believe that they have more authority than they do. Everybody thinks that the FDA has this ability, this authority to tell people how to treat certain diseases. And this couldn't be further from the truth. And basically really taking away from the doctor-patient relationship, and it's the government trying to dictate our healthcare system.
Exactly. So the judge that the court decided to hear the case, was it the judge that actually is going to hear the case, that commented on the case?
So, well, yeah, I mean, the people there were three judges at the appeal. And one judge wrote the decision, but they will not be involved in the case going forward. So it goes back, I believe it goes back to the same judge, and the initial case was heard in Galveston, Texas.
I see. So, but it'll still be at the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, correct?
No, it goes back to the lower court.
It's so hard to figure that stuff out.
It's very confusing. Right. Yes. I am getting a crash course in law throughout this whole thing.
Right. Yeah.